I had no idea that what I experienced was possible. When I went about getting the pill, I talked with my doctor, I did research, I had classes. So I thought like, oh, I have this under control. Like I'm smart, I'm doing all the right things, like everything will be fine. Because talking to my doctor, I'm doing everything that they say, except I didn't feel comfortable talking with my parents about it. Last year, I had been on the pill since April, and I noticed that I had a headache. And at first I'm like, oh, it's just a headache. I'll take Tylenol. And like that sort of worked for a couple days, but it started to get worse. My head is pounding all day. Like, this is not normal. And so I thought maybe it's just a migraine. And I kind of went about my business for 2 weeks until finally the headache got so terrible that I couldn't even get out of bed. The day after I went to the doctor's, I was walking home from class with my best friend and another friend of ours, and I had a seizure. I just remember that I couldn't quite formulate words correctly. Like, my left hand was moving involuntarily, and I was trying to tell my best friend, like, hey, my left hand's doing something that I'm not telling it to do, and it was just complete gibberish that came out of my mouth. It was actually my mom's birthday that day, so I didn't want to be like, hey, Mom, like, just had a seizure, what do I do? If it might not have been something that was so serious. What they found is that I had a blood clot in my brain. And it was a surprisingly very large one. I learned that all the doctors were just stunned that I was totally fine and that I wasn't in a coma because it was that severe. I have an antithrombin 3 deficiency, and which means that I have a deficiency in a factor that helps regulate blood flow and prevent blood clots. So I have a deficiency in that factor, which makes me a lot more prone to blood clotting. And it's a hereditary condition I was completely unaware of. And one of the possible side effects of birth control was blood clottage. And that's something that the pill served as a kind of catalyst for me to have this condition. I had no idea that what I experienced was possible. I would have found out that I had this hereditary condition if I had talked to my parents. I mean, I thought I was doing all the right things, and I was, except for having that communication. And I really wish I had had that communication with my parents. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't feel comfortable talking to their parents about this kind of stuff, but also, I mean, there's a lot of parents that like don't really want to say like, hey, like, do you want to go on the pill or whatever to their kids? Like, it's a touchy subject, but it really can't be because it's so important. And I mean, ever since I've been able to talk to my parents, like, I just feel like our relationship has grown so much stronger. Ever since I kind of had like a new appreciation for everything, because it really was scary for a time. And I mean, it really affected my whole family because they were all so worried about me, like, and so scared that I wasn't gonna have as good a recovery as I did. It was a lot easier for it to be me that this happened to, because I knew, like, I can get through this will be fine, but if I saw, like, my sister in that bed, or if when I choose to have kids, if I saw one of them going through what I experienced, I would lose it. Like, yeah, I'm really lucky that everything worked out and that I have no side effects at all from this, but it could have been a lot worse. And when anyone's any age, they feel like I'm okay, like I have this goal in mind, I have like all of this stuff planned for me, like I know my life's gonna be so great, and no one thinks that something could just take it all away in a second. And it can. And you just really have to be smart about your health. The only way to do that is to have communication and to really feel like you have an environment where you can truly, truly share everything.